Hey guys, it's Tavis Leaf Glover, and today we're going to be walking Waikiki Beach and doing street photography with the new Ricoh GR III. So I'm going to teach you guys a little bit about composition and some of the techniques I've learned with this little camera and what else I find over here. So let's get into it. This looks kind of funny. I'm going to record this diagonal. So I know my shadow gets in the way of a lot of these shots, but I'm going to try my best to keep it out of the shots. Oh, there's a funny one. Let's see if I can get that. I gotta hurry up. Okay, so I was trying to get the sinister diagonal, and that's the diagonal from the upper left to the lower right. I don't know if I got that kid, but I tried. So if you're just starting out with dynamic symmetry and you're trying to break free from the chains of the rule of thirds, just start out slow. I've got a video teaching you how to start slow with one diagonal, the Baroque diagonal, which is from lower left to upper right. And just in general, look for more diagonals and see if you can incorporate them into your photos, and then keep building on top of that. Let me go down here and see what this looks like. So this might be a funny shot. Got the major diagonals here, maybe the guy in the background, these two people. I gotta get closer. Let's see. I'm not sure if that worked. So I'm basically just walking up to these people, trying to get as close as I can, but I'm gonna take that one then. It's dumb, too much negative space. This one might be funny. So I just pointed my camera at that guy and smiled, and he smiled back. That's basically all you gotta do. I usually have no problems taking photos of people. One other thing cool about this camera, there's a lot of cool things. It fits in your pocket. I mean, I'm so lazy, I take pictures with my phone all the time, but I never wanted to break out my nicer camera. But it's awesome because this goes with me everywhere, basically, to the gym, to the grocery store, you name it. So that's a great benefit. So what I was saying was the focal length is wide enough that you can shoot from the hip. Just to experiment. I don't recommend doing that all the time, but when you shoot from the hip, you see someone sitting down, eating ice cream or whatever, you can put the camera by your side like this and have your focal point ready in the center. That's what I do. I have the snap focus set to 1 meter, but I use this auto focal point. But anyway, so you go up, walk next to someone, and you snap a couple shots in their direction. As you rotate around them, you rotate the camera kind of like this and keep taking pictures. And sometimes you get some interesting results. It's pretty fun. It's like playing poker, like on a slot machine or something. See, you're just kind of gambling. Because once you start shooting from the hip, the composition kind of goes out the window, and you hardly have any control over the figure ground relationship, the diagonals, all that stuff. So you're basically depending on luck, which sometimes you get lucky and it's fun. So it's like learn a few different techniques and see which one works best. I like to mix it up, point and shoot, boom, focus on figure ground relationship, diagonals, and then point and shoot. A couple shots if they're coming at you, now that I'm shooting with digital. Or I slow down, take nice composed shots with the grid, or I shoot from the hip. So there's 3 different techniques you can do, all with the same camera. So right here you could compose something with the railings, but I don't think it'd look very good. And plus I don't see any like major diagonals. If I turn my body this way, there's me, the shadows of the palm tree, but there's nothing really interesting on the beach. Not very many colors, just a lot of sand. So skipping that one, and then take the picture. Oh, this might be a good composition. It looks kind of cool. So a lot of you street photographers probably stuck kind of where it's not. This might be a cool shot, but I'm not too into that shot. But anyway, some of you street photographers might be stuck in a place where there's not much sun, which is cool. You can still get colors. Some street photographers use flash, and that helps pop the colors out a little bit. So if all else fails and you don't get any good shots, at least you got out and enjoyed what you love to do and a little exercise. So there's an infinity pool up here I'm going to check out and see if I can get a cool shot.
What do you want to do? Is what I'm asking.
Drawing in. Let's see if I can get. Usually this wide angle, I need something in the foreground. Like this lady, I'm gonna go high, good diamond head. And there's a diagonal here, but there's nothing by it. And I got a shot the other day with that diagonal, but someone was in the shot, so it was a lot better. And there's nothing in the foreground, so if I took a picture right here, there'd be a lot of negative space, which would make a dumb, boring picture. So we're about halfway to the end mark. If I have enough batteries, I'll walk through the shopping area and see if I can get some shots in there, because I know you guys like the structure part of street photography. Not everybody's got the beach to shoot by, so I understand that. I've heard someone say that they wanted to try and work on not capturing the back of people's heads so much, which makes sense, but some shots you can make like a project out of it, and as long as you compose it and tell a story with it, it might be a cool little project. But Joseph Kudelka has a really, really great picture of the back of someone's head, and so do a lot of other photographers. But I'd say if it works for the story you're trying to tell and you compose it correctly and the final result looks pretty good, then you're all set. And don't kind of make rules for yourself, just go with it. I'm learning to be more loose. Alright, so this is my favorite stretch, obviously. You can probably see why. There's tons of people here. And I'm going to just try and get in front of this guy's face and take a picture. So I usually take 1-2 pictures right in front of their face. Since my snap focus is 1 meter, that guy was a lot closer, so I kind of just tap the shutter focus and then push the shutter the rest of the way. So I'm looking for colors and stories and groups of people that I can combine. This one might be cool because he's got there was a band-aid on his back. So I'm just playing it off like I was filming or something, and now I'm going back. So sometimes I just play it off. Sometimes I act like I'm filming, you know. So there's a triangle here, and I've got the camera above my head, so I don't know if that turned out, but I was watching for figure ground relationship and trying to catch that triangle. So yeah, sometimes the snap focus screws up my focus because I press it too quick. But you know, if I'm in the right distance, within 1 meter, around there, it's gonna look good. You'll see. So there's a lot of action, as you can see. And this girl's gonna catch the football. Hit you from the hip. Not sure if it'll turn out. You know, usually my aim from the hip is pretty pathetic. Like a less than 10%. Here's one from the hip. There's another one. So it's like gambling. Did I get a good one? There's a pink flamingo with a pink surfboard. I don't think I can make any cool compositions. There's not anything by it. Let's see if I can get close to it and kneel down and try and get the one in the background. Alright. I don't know if that'll turn out. Get all these surfboards. You can get nice diagonals on that. Take a selfie, a shadow selfie. So you separate your hand from the shadow like this, and just line it up. And make sure your shadow's not hitting the other object. If I shoot behind me, I'm like, everything's gonna be a silhouette. So I'm trying to get this girl's face, but I'm tired of waiting. Usually I don't wait for shots because I'm potentially missing another good shot straight ahead of me. And then I spent 15 minutes waiting for a shot that's mediocre. So usually don't break my stride too much. I just keep moving. So when I shoot from the side, I usually put it like this. And then to make sure my arm's out of the way, I act like I'm itching my my left hip, like this. Well, you can't really see, but and then it's kind of like a magician's trick where it leads their eyes kind of away from your camera and to what you're itching. So we'll see if any of these turn out. My shadow's getting in the way. Sometimes I've gotten shots over here. Let me see if I can shoot from the hip for this. Well, I'll shoot like video style with this kid. With the weird hat. There's one. Whoa. Can I take a picture of that? Can I take it? You're not gonna do it again?
What? He lets you do it again. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Are you guys Australian? All right.
Huh?
All right then.
You're gonna have to burst it really quick. I'm not that good.
The sun's pretty bad, don't you think?
Oh, that was kind of the point.
Oh, I'll shoot from this side. There you go. Nice. Good job. I'm not making fun of your accent. I went to Australia and enjoyed it there.
Oh, really?
But I liked Noosa.
Oh, yeah.
What's the other one that starts with a B? Brisbane.
Oh, yeah. That's what we
And then up north, what's the rainforest up there?
Like Cairns?
Yeah. Yep.
Canberra?
Yep. Yep.
No, Canberra's not a rainforest. That's cold. I don't know which way it goes.
But I like how you guys say brekkie
Brekkie?
and flat white and blats.
Is that how we say it?
Gonna get it black. Well, that's my impression, but you do it a lot better.
I went to Texas the other day, so I don't know.
Texas.
Apparently. And Canada, we've got Canada. Where was it weird?
British.
A lot of us, yeah, a lot of people have said it.
Are you having fun?
Yeah, so far. We leave tomorrow, so
Doing handstands everywhere you can before you leave?
that's it. That's the plan.
There you go. Thanks for the picture. All right, so that was fun. So it's a great way to meet people, I guess. Australians especially, right? So yeah, another cool thing about this camera is people see it and they think it's so amateurish because it's super, super small. It's got the APS-C size sensor, so it's packing some heat. Not too shabby. Got a lot of features meant for street photographers, so I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. So, and also, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the battery life sucks. So my friends, we went out shooting and my battery died like 3 times before his did. He had a Fuji something, and my battery died like 3 times, so that's fine. I have 3 batteries, and that lasted about 2 hours with the LCD on the whole time and on full brightness. So that works for me. I could probably, if I do all day shooting, I'd probably need 8 batteries or something. So I'm gonna probably get some generic ones that are less expensive than the name brand, $40 ones. Let's see if there's something over here. Now see how I'm walking towards the sun? It's all silhouettes. So when you deal with silhouettes, you have to deal with the shape. Mainly what the shape the person's creating, which is called aspective view. You want their limbs spread apart as much as possible so we can easily identify them. But in this case, I love the color of everything when the sun's at my back, even though my shadow gets in the way sometimes, but it's a trade-off. Sometimes I get cool little touristy pictures by this tree over here. If I can get someone, now that I've got this wider lens, I have to work to get somebody in the foreground to make an interesting composition. Plus the sun's in the wrong position. So I don't think this will work, but it was worth checking out. Let me go down here and see if there's anything. All right, so maybe I can get close to this guy that's talking on his phone. It's pretty funny because it's so huge. Let me turn it sideways. I want to get his face. Let me see if I can. Just get kind of close and get my shadow. He's not looking this way. You can make, I did an article on Alex Soft, how he created this really, really cool project from a boring city in Mississippi or somewhere nearby, but it was pretty good. These guys are on the hip. A lot of homeless right here. Hold my breath. The cops are watching them. Oh, where's my son? That might be funny. Let's see. Trying to get that guy on a diagonal. Got a unicorn. Inner tube over there. But now all my colors very minimal because the cloud coverage. So hoping for the sun. It usually gets covered up this time of day anyway. I was expecting it a little earlier, but then for sunset it pops out. So like a half hour of no sun or cloud coverage. So we'll see what we can do. Still got the same settings. My ISO is pretty low. ISO is like 500 maybe. So I'm gonna go over there on the wall. It's the last stop, unless my battery keeps going, and I'll keep walking around. Let's see. So there are usually, as you're watching this, you'll be like, oh, I would have taken a picture there. I would have taken a picture there. But I'm also looking for figure-ground relationship and a good image aside from interesting characters. So I'm usually leaning towards a better composition than interesting characters, but you know, if you can combine both of them together, that's perfect. Create a story, have a nice composition, have nice colors. That's like all cream of the crop. So these kids might jump in, so maybe I'll get a picture of them. And my battery's like on low, so we'll see. We'll see if this works. I'm gonna pre-focus to where he's jumping. There we go. And I think both of them together was like the shapes were colliding. So it would have been better if they went one at a time. So I don't think that one will show up very well. Maybe I'll get one on the way back. So over here the water splashes up on the wall pretty high sometimes. Let's see if we can get some cool shots. So much light. Oh, this one might be cool. I'm gonna focus on them. Yeah, all three of them. And I smell weed. And this sun sucks, but maybe I can get over here. So, I don't know if that showed up because the camera started tracking faces. So I don't know if that'll work. So in the groups like this, you can get really close, like this guy with the glasses.
Oh, so it's just cookies that are from Honolulu.
This kid's gonna jump. I'm gonna change my battery real quick. Woo. Someone's really choking it up. So the battery is pretty small. That's why it doesn't last long, so it's like a trade-off. You want the battery to last longer, you have to have a bigger camera.
Yep.
So I'd rather have small cameras that are quick to change. See how quick that was? And it turns on in like 0.8 seconds. So that's how quick it is to turn on. So it's almost as quick as turning on your phone to take a picture. So make sure my focal point's in the right range. I need to get where on this side where the water or the light is better. I get some pins in the wall. I need some foreground. That's what I need. Sometimes you can shoot between people's legs and arms, like this. Focus on the ocean and then get the kid between her arms there. Look at the diagonals. But usually where there's a lot of action, I take a lot more pictures and I linger a little bit, because usually you'll get something interesting. So those kids right there, they're creating an arabesque. That looks cool. So I'm shooting RAW and JPEG because this does a good job like a JPEG, but you can get a lot more out of the RAW, just saying. I've tried both. I'll walk down here, see if we got any action. At least we got our sun back. Just sometimes I'll just line shots up, see what they look like with the grid. Sometimes just skip it, don't take the picture. But if you're just starting out, take all the pictures, just to experiment, line up the Baroque diagonal, experiment, go back, analyze your photos, see if you locked it into the grid, see what you could do better. You want to be as comfortable as possible. That way you can shoot as long as you can. That's the cool thing. Another cool thing about this camera is it's so lightweight, you don't even notice it. See if I get someone in the arms, through the arms. I don't know. All right, heading back to the strip. My theory is, the way I look at it is, the more you're shooting, even if they're bad pictures, then you're making more mistakes and you're learning from those mistakes. So you're just fine-tuning and sharpening your knife every time you go out. So that's the way I look at it. The more photos you take, the more mistakes you make, and the more you fine-tune your craft. Just like painting, I want to be a better painter, but how often do I paint? Not very often. So I gotta make more mistakes, and that'll make me a better painter, because I'll learn from those mistakes. So I'm gonna cross over here and might cut it off, because you see how the sun is in my face now? That means all the color is gonna be kind of muddied up. Unless I get some cool rim light like last time. So let's see what we can get. We have longer shadows that create some diagonals and potential for the shadow's edge. Where you have a subject like over here. Let me see. Let me turn this on first. So if you turn it on.
Here, ma'am, come, I give you the phone.
So if you have a subject standing in the light and they're next to the shadow, like a doorway, then they're going to create a nice figure-ground relationship. All right, I got a shot a couple days ago in front of this green wall up here. if you can get some, like a pink, get someone with a pink shirt on, then you can get the church in the background. I don't know if you can see it up there, the green roof in the church. And this girl is coming. She's got a red dress. I don't know if this will work, but well, trying to cut out my shadow and the homeless guy. I don't know if that one works. So the upper diagonal right now is lining up to the reciprocal. So this one might be funny since they're looking kind of weird into. I gotta make sure I'm not getting my shadow. I'll go back and analyze these and see which ones I did good on and go from there. Because if you compare the ones that I got from a week ago, I'm getting a lot better pictures because I've already made a lot more mistakes and looked at and learned from my mistakes. So it's the best part of it. Just keep going out. So right now my ISO is pretty high. I could drop down. It's at 1600 around there in the shade. 2500. So I could drop down my shutter speed a little bit. Let's try that. I'm gonna go to 1500, and hopefully that'll freeze the motion enough if I'm not moving my arm at the same time someone's walking. But sometimes you just kind of like ruin the image because there's too much motion blur. Still got my aperture at 5.6. See, I would have taken a picture of that guy, but then the white car pulled up behind him and ruined the rim light on his face. Let's see if this farmer's market's going on. Because then I'll go in and get some shots for you. I'm going to set my aperture to 2.8 and shutter speed to 250 and auto ISO. Let's see if this is a farmer's market. Get some cool shots. Yeah, up close to people. Yeah, we got some people. Still looking for color. My ISO is at 800 right now. Some nice color on the wall, but all the people walking by is not very interesting. Ooh, these look good. Look at those. I don't know if you can see those. Can I get a picture of your dog? What's his name?
Drew.
Drew?
Bruce, are you?
Bruce? Hi. Thanks. Let's see. I'm looking for gestures also. Here's some color. Let's see if I can get her. Smile.
They were neckties.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he does. I repurpose neckties.
That's awesome.
Much better use for that.
Yeah, it's pretty. My mom would like these. Can I get a picture of yours? It's really pretty. Thank you. There's another dog. Oh, I got a picture. Hey, puppy. Hi. All right, let's keep walking. walking. That was way too close for the focus. I would need macro. So this camera's also got macro mode. And I'm still on my second battery and it's still full, so that's good. It's been over an hour. See if we can get some magic here. Let me see. I'm at ISO 200. I'm gonna switch back to 5.6 and 500. Since I'm outside and there's more light. This one might be funny. It's the lighting. And I'm scooting back just a little. There we go, to get the whole rack. It's a dumb picture, but hey, it's one of those pictures where you learn from it, you know? Plus, I've taken that shot before, and I knew it was going to be stupid. But I did it for you guys. If I peek in here, drop this down. Let's see. I don't know if that'll turn out, but I peeked in there and got some people. Set my settings back to 5.6, 500. So I'm going to set up user mode to be for the shaded area and then the sunny area. That way I could just switch back and forth wherever I am. And see, I like the rim light on this. Switch back and forth and the crosswalk, figure ground relationship, gesture. I don't know if that one will show up. We'll get a little closer. There we go. And the diagonal. There we go. This one might be funny. He's putting on his makeup. If you flip through Henry Cartier-Bresson's book, The Decisive Moment, you'll notice how much they care about the subject being in perfect focus. They don't really care, because almost every other picture, but there's a lot of pictures that I want to get this thing, and those. That's funny. That's good. So yeah, the decisive moment, if you look at them, the pictures are awesome. They're big, they're fun to look at. But, you know, they're not pixel peeping on the film. There's a lot of images that are blurry, out of focus. You know, obviously you're shooting with film back in those days, and you don't have the bells and whistles that today cameras have. But still, their images look great, and especially Henry Cartier-Bresson's, where he's focusing on composition. It's like he's got an awesome composition. It doesn't matter if the image is slightly out of focus. So that's something to consider if you find yourself pixel peeping too much. There's nice shafts of light over there. I might go work. So when people walk through them, they get lit up. Alright, so we've got this shaft of light. My camera went off for some reason. Let's go. There we go. Figure ground relationship, and he looks the other way. So I'm -2 EV just to control this ISO, because I want that shaft of light. And there's kids on the skateboard coming up. See if we can get that one. Like that. That one's gone. So that one might work. Adjusting the EV again. There you go. Shoot from the hip. Anything. Maybe this one, maybe that one. I'm gonna get that diagonal maybe. Figure out a relationship. Close up. Alright. Heading back towards the beach. You have Bouguereau, which is a tight painter, and then you have Bonnard, which is a loose painter. So I'm trying to find a balance between tight photography and loose photography. And, you know, that way you're not all stiff and kind of like not taking a lot of pictures, not having fun with it. But you're also experimenting, playing around, having fun. If you're keeping it loose, but you're also looking for specific design techniques to incorporate and using the grid to compose nice images and doing it that way also. It's not every one of Henry Cartier-Bresson's photos are composed perfectly. There's he's got one shot of a little boy walking with a bottle of wine, and he cuts off the little boy's legs. And I don't know if it's got a good figure-ground relationship, and I'm not even sure if there's like a dominant diagonal, but he captures the little boy's expression. Little kid walking around with a bottle of wine, why wouldn't he be happy? So, you know, expressions have a tendency to portray emotion, and that can affect the viewer as much as a nice composition. So it's a nice balance. If you can get everything together, it's perfect. You know, street photography, you don't really have a lot of opportunities to get everything perfect, but you try to do the best you can. All right, those little doggies. That's cute. That's so cute. Hi, dog. I don't know if I got that, but I hope I did. The other lady was holding a poodle. Would have been awesome if it was facing me.
Mom, do you want to take a picture here?
This one's. Where's my? How did my thing die already? My camera turned off. This camera has like an automatic thing to turn off, but you know when you're not shooting a lot. So, all right, you guys, this is it because my GoPro just died and I switched batteries, and this one's only got 6% left. So, yeah, we made it back to the same spot. Thanks for joining, and hopefully you're inspired to get out there and take more photos with whatever camera you have. But this Ricoh GR III is pretty freaking awesome. But anyway, thanks for joining in. Take care, guys. Bye.